Hello, everyone. It's 8 o'clock on a Monday evening, and it's time for episode 69 of Wilson Waffling Live. Run titles. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 69 of Wilson Waffling Live. Do you know, I must really remember because that I'm talking to the camera, because normally when I'm doing my radio show I sit here and I can do anything that I want because my camera isn't on, but now I have to remember that you are there watching me, so I have to talk to camera and also not pick my nose or anything like that because you're all watching. Sorry about that, that was a bit disgusting. Anyway, hello and welcome to episode 69. 69 of these. I must do something special for the 70th, maybe do another looking back on all the other shows that I've done beforehand, something like that. I don't know. Do you think, do I look a little bit orange today? I think the background looks a bit orange. I'm not too sure. Or you can see my washing as well. Look, that's my washing. That's a t-shirt and that's a hanky. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, I should have removed those. How professional am I? So, anyway, back to tonight's show. So, welcome to Wilson Waffling Live, episode 69. And if you're watching this and you're not watching it live, then welcome to Wilson Waffling on YouTube, episode 69. So, as always, remember, I like to promote a bit of interaction. So if you're watching it live, then by all means, there is a chat room just sort of like over there somewhere, I think. So you can, or I think I'm pointing, it might be over there. It might actually be over there. I'll just check. I'm just waiting to see which way I point at. Anyway, by all means, chat in the chat room. I'll keep having a look at it now and again. So if you see me turning off to one side like that, it means that I'm looking at the chat room. Or if you would like to tweet me at iWilsonYSJ, then by all means you can do that. And you tweet me there at this down here, look. This there at YSJ, iWilsonYSJ, or you can even follow the hashtag, which is not the hashtag for this show, but hashtag for YSJ Primary Ed, or Prime Ed there. So lots of options to stay in touch. And anything that you would like to say, then just tweet around. Or if you're watching the recorded version of this, then by all means tweet me still, or you can put comments down below underneath this video, and I've got something to ask you to put down there later on in the show, so get ready. So what have we got on tonight's show? Well, as always, we're going to have the tweets of the week, and this is when I look back on the tweets that have filled my timeline this week, or using the hashtag YSJPrimeEd. And I shared them with you and give you some indication of what's been going on and the primary ed course at YSJ this week. Then I give you the website roundup, is when we go into almost like newsreader mode, and I actually give you a series of discussions about articles that I found in the on the websites around the internet through the past week, and that's sort of almost like a newsreader thing. And I've really tried hard after last week, so bear with me. Then we will have the teacher tidbits, or the teacher or Wilson Waffling ideas, when I haven't decided about a segment description for that yet. So if you've got a good name for that segment when I give you some teaching ideas, then by all means add them below in the comments. I'm always welcome and up for some creativity in that form. And then finally I will be doing Ask Waffling Wilson, when I answer the questions that you, the viewers, have sent me via the ask.fm website. So lots to do. But as always, I like to start off the show by giving you a little bit of a soda. Now remember, soda stands for start of day activity. And this is when I give you a sit shot. My nose is itching so much. It's unbelievable. You know when you feel that you're going to sneeze? And if I do, I'll try to get off camera before I actually sneeze. So bear with me. So anyway. Right, start of day activity, soda. And this is what I do in the classroom, normally first thing in the morning. And it's to get our thinking skills rolling, getting some ideas coming up like that. So I'd like to share with you every episode a new idea that you could do. So this week, I thought what we might do is that we might go off to a desert island. So this is today's soda. Now, feel free, if you've got any ideas for this, to enter them in the comments below. Okay, in the comments below, by all means, add away. So here we go. So imagine if you would that you've been stranded on a desert island. Okay, you've been stranded on a desert island. You're miles away from anywhere. And you have been lucky enough to be left with a bottle and a piece of paper to write a short message on before putting it in the bottle and throwing it out onto the ocean. And the question is, what would you write on that bottle? Not on the bottle, on the piece of paper that goes in the bottle. Okay, so what would you write? And if you're trying to think, ooh, let's make this a little bit more taxing, try to do 140 characters like a tweet. Okay, if you wish, but if not, then you could do whatever you wish, however many you think you might be able to write. So the idea is, what would you write? What would you actually write? Would you ask to be rescued? Would you write, sorry, help, rescue me, or something like that? Or would you send one last message to all your friends and colleagues? Or would you write something about you, saying, whoever finds this, I have been trapped on this desert island, and so. So that is this week's soda. So if you would like to, you can either tweet me the answer if you would like to do in 140 characters, so at iWilsonYSJ, or the other thing that you could do is add in the comments below. And while you're around there, can you remember last week, I've been watching as part of research for this show, because as you can imagine, I'm probably one of the oldest people on YouTube at the moment. So one of the things, part of this sort of like my research into using YouTube, I've been watching the great YouTubers, and they seem to say two things. They either say, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. So I'm going to say that. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And also they try to say, and write in the comments below. So write in the comments below and give me a thumbs up, whatever you would like. And don't forget to subscribe. They also say that as well. So I'm doing my research, guys. I'm actually doing my research. So yeah, so that's what we need to do. So what would be the message that you put in the bottle? Now, if you could use that with the kids, it is mine given to you. And remember, if you'd like to see more teaching sodery ideas, then by all means, pop over to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and you'll see some more over there. So that's a little bit of a soda for you. Now, let's move on, because the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to have the wonderful tweet of the week. Cue music. I am dreadfully sorry. We had a bit of a crash there. Wirecast decided to stop for a few minutes. It does sort of stop. So bear with me. I think I've actually caught the stream up because of that. Yeah, it tended to have a little dicky fit there, and it just sort of like stopped for a while. So let's get straight on with the tweet of the week. Now, the first thing I have to remind you is that a lot of our students are out on placement at the moment, or they're busy doing their final research project. So this is basically really and truly only the first years who are out there tweeting away. Anyway, so first tweet of the week is from Tom here. And Tom says, the animal cage is complete. Now, this is part of some work that we do in the first year. And part of the first year is that the students have to present some student-led sessions and give a mental or start or an activity to do. And this was a brilliant one when they were scaling up measurements to make cages. And you can see there, Tom's made a lovely, very neat, I must say, very neat box that was one of the cages. Now, at the same time, we've still got story boxes happening. Here's Chloe Jennifer's, and you can see that she's doing a lovely story box here, ready for submission. I'm trying to see what's actually inside there. Whatever it is, it definitely says on the front, top secret. So that looks like a very interesting, it looks a bit like a war theme, I think, a bit of a war theme there going on. Now, at the same time, the students are busy creating games and activities to go into school and to be used with the children. So here's a lovely maths game here, mathematics game, snakes and ladders game done. This is from Emma, and children have to answer questions on the card to move round the board. Excellent. That looks really exciting, and I like the big question marks around the outside for that one. And on a similar vein, this one's really complicated or really refined and really very much like the original game. This is Mathsopoly. Like Monopoly, but not quite. Ready to play on Thursday. And you can see there, it looks really like the game. And you can see that there's different cards there for the different 4 operations to pick up and to be used as we go along, which is absolutely fantastic. And that is from Ella. Well done, Ella. Very interesting. Now, on a slightly different theme, one of the students today, Gary here, decided to give us a thought for the day. Okay, and to represent our education system. And this is a quote by Albert Einstein. And I see this a lot nowadays around about Twitter and things like that. But it's worth actually engaging with this. And what I really think is down at the bottom. It says, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And I think that generally in life, let alone the education system, I think that is really important to keep in mind at all times. Now, remember that also, if you follow us at YSJ, we also have this blog. And this blog is actually run by students, and we have some staff involved as well, but it's mainly by students, and it's blog.yorksj.ac.uk / primary education. Oh, look. Do you know what that is there? That is my microphone, look. Microphone. It should really be out of shot there, but I'll just leave it like that, just in case I fade away to nothing. And on this blog here, we actually do some blog posts. So I thought what I would do in the tweet of the week this week, I thought I'd also tell you about some of the blog posts we have. So here we are. Here's the first one. This one is about pros and cons of using online resources. And I think this one is done by Amy. I think this is written by Amy. So do go along to that website and have a look at that. Pros and cons of using resources. And Amy has a really sort of like letter style. So it says, hello everyone, today I thought, so a bit like a letter. So I like that. And also as part of the blog, we have something known as the Hops Highlights. The Hops Highlights. And this is actually written by our head of program, hence HOP, Peter Raymond. And this one he wrote about some second year work that they were doing about wider curriculum and different resources. And you can see there that we've got something based on Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. And we've got a cheeky selfie as a suitcase resource there. And then finally at the end we have some Masari resources, like a big book there, which was absolutely fantastic. So if you're interested in catching up on any of that, then please don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter, and you can find us here at hashtag YSJPrimeEd. And you can also follow me if you wish here at iWilsonYSJ. And also don't forget to follow York St. John as well. So that, people, was the tweets of the week. Let's see if this works. there you go. We're back. We're back. Let me just put something down at the bottom there. Junk. There we go. So we're this is the bit that I always get worried about. Okay, so it's time for the website roundup. Now, if you remember, I changed the website roundup last week, and one thing that I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to develop my own skills by using a program called Premiere Pro, done by Adobe, which is all about video editing. And I also was trying to do something to do with videoing and making things fancy, and I got myself a teleprompter which didn't work, and I've really tried hard. So last week it was a bit rough around the edges, so today I've tried to do some fancy transitions and make it a little bit more exciting. So website roundup is when I collect some of the stories that have been on the internet throughout the week, and I shared them with you in almost like a news bulletin format. So it's all loaded up, ready to run. It also gives me a chance to catch my breath and have a sip of coffee, and scratch my itchy nose. So we'll be back shortly. But for you guys, have a look. Let me make sure I get the right one. Get ready and have a listen to this week's website roundup. Will take rural schools into their academy chains. And, as stated by Jeremy Corbyn, should schools not be focusing on improving standards? And welcome to this week's website roundup. Yes, as predicted, the discussion over the government's proposed plans to change all schools to academies by 2022 continues. Various points are being raised. What will happen to rural schools? Why would outstanding schools change their governors? Who will take rural schools into their academy chains? And, as stated by Jeremy Corbyn, should schools not be focusing on improving standards and progressing learning rather than concentrating on arbitrary changes imposed from above? David Cameron states that the reform had been hugely effective and that we have seen massive improvements in our schools because of academies. And we say, let's get on with it, finish the job and give our children a great opportunity. Following up from last week's news item about the cost of the reform, a financial watchdog has criticised the Department of Education's accounts, saying that they failed to properly account for the spending of academies. This discussion will probably continue until 2022, until the last school changes, I think. I might be up to episode about 500 by then, but I will certainly feature it as a story. What are your views about schools changing into academies? Are you in an academy now? Do you not want to change? Are you supportive of the change? Well, you can always add your comments in the box below this video. As predicted, the head teacher who resigned over the proposed changes to academies is not the only one. On the 19th of April, the BBC reported about a head teacher from a West Sussex primary school who had resigned, saying factory farming was failing to prepare the children for their futures. Kit Messenger, who will leave the school at the end of the summer term after 16 years of being a head teacher. In a letter to the governors, she cited the narrowing curriculum and the government's plans to change all schools into academies as the reason. The narrowing curriculum, focusing more and more on reading, writing and mathematics, felt like schools are just factory farming the children. I do wonder how the government are viewing these resignations. It appears to me we are losing valuable and experienced leaders from outstanding schools who have not only a very good understanding of how children learn and the associated pedagogy, but also a deep understanding of what is best for children to prepare them for the future. The question remains, who will be next? On Wednesday the 20th of April, The Guardian ran an article titled "After School Clubs Can Improve Children's Education." A study of 6,400 children in England completed by the Nuffield Foundation found that those who took part in organised sports and physical activities at the ages of 5, 7 and 11 were almost 1.5 times more likely to reach a higher than expected level by their Key Stage 2 mathematics test. On average, 2 points higher in the test score. Disadvantaged children who attended after school clubs also fared better than their peers who did not take part. The lead investigator stated that results showed that sports clubs were positively associated with attainment outcomes at age 11, even when accounting for prior attainment at age 7. The report also shows that children who participated in organised sports and physical activity at any time during primary school had better social and behavioural skills. After-school clubs have always been an important part of school life. This report appears to focus mainly on physical activities, and it is not clear whether these include local sports clubs. I do wonder whether the improvement is related just to sport or participation in any club would be beneficial to the child's development and academic achievement. I used to run a chess club. Would this have the same impact? Although everyone can make mistakes, you would expect some people to make less or even none at all. Last Thursday, The Guardian ran a story describing the blunder of the DFE, a blunder the DFE had done. The spelling test that the Year 2 children would be taking in May had accidentally been published online as a sample paper. It was discovered by a teacher at school who was trialling the paper. A child actually knew which question was coming up next, and when questioned by the teacher, they admitted to seeing the paper before. The paper, of course, has been removed from the website, and a DFE spokesperson said that fortunately this is a Key Stage 1 test which is provided to schools to support teacher assessment judgments. After reading the article, I'm wondering how many parents are downloading everything just in case another blunder occurs. The dedication of the parents to complete sample tests was also impressive. I wonder how many times the child had actually completed it in order to know what was coming next. Poetry writing prompts. Of course, I particularly like the animal poems, since it's about a giraffe. Later on in the show, I'll be talking about more teaching ideas from my own website, wilsonwaffling.co.uk. These are all sorted in the form, so do pop over and have a look and add your own. Sharing is definitely the way forward. Links to all these articles can be found in the description below this video or on wilsonwaffling.co.uk in the episode's waffle. And that concludes this week's website roundup. Oh, okay then. You could have told me. People who are listening, you could have told me, was my mic muted through all that? I'm there blabbling around like this. Did nobody tell me that my mic was muted? I don't believe that. Chat room, was my mic absolutely... Oh, I don't believe that. I think my mic was muted through that. Anyway, remember that if you... I'm not going to say it all again. It's just... I despair. I really do despair. I just give up. I give up, folks. I give up, folks. I really do give up. Anyway, I might go back. It might have been fine, or it might have been lost altogether in translation. Hopefully, we still got it, but we'll see. We'll see. Right. Anyway, let's get on with the next part of the show, which is the teaching tidbits, when I give you a few ideas about teaching. And if you remember, this used to be called the opinion minion section, but I think you got rather bored with my opinions. So this is a new section to give you ideas. So it's an idea that I thought it would help you do something in class as well as the sodas. And remember, you can find all these ideas are actually on wilsonwaffling.co.uk. So here is the website. If I zoom down into the corner there, I think I've lost a whole load of viewers, mainly because I didn't have very many to start off with, but I think I've lost a whole load because I had no mic. So I do apologize. Come back, viewers, come back. So if you go along to here, to this button here, let me just zoom in for you. There you go. So if you go to this button here where it says forums, if you click forums there, then you can go down here. This is where you register for the forums. So if you would like to register, then that's where to go. And then this is where to log in. And down here, there's something that says teaching and lesson ideas, and that's where there's 11 things there. So by all means, nip along and have a look at what's going on there. So this is this week's idea. This is this week's idea, and I thought I would talk this week about something very mathematics. Okay, and I often think one of the hardest topics or hardest concepts to teach in primary school is time. Oh. Hello? I'm not too sure which hang on a minute. Hang on. I think I might have to move this. Hang on. I might have to put it to one side for a second. Hang on. I'm getting there. It won't move. I'll just get rid of it for the time being. I'll get rid of it. So time, not only because of the awful conversion, because we go through everything in decimal form, and then suddenly, instead of having 100 things in something or 1,000 things, we've got 60 seconds in a minute, and then 60 minutes in an hour. So that causes confusion. There's also 12 and 24 hours in a day. So that's also causing confusion. But there's also the difference between analog and digital time and things like that. So some children arrive at the lesson with a very good understanding of time, while others might still be in the very early stages of it. And there's also this idea that some children tell you the time in analog form, so they might say 1:45, while some people might still tell it in digital time, so they might say 1:45. Okay, so all these different ideas. So what I'm going to give you is an idea that can be given to children who can already tell the time, but it's a bit like a puzzle, a bit to think of. So, being a super trendy teacher in mathematics, okay, I've bought one of those fancy clocks with no numbers on it. So imagine a clock with no numbers on it. In a recent burglary, okay, while I was away on holiday, you can change the scenario to fit whatever you want. The clock got knocked off the wall and stopped. Okay, the police would like to know what time the crime could have taken place at, according to the clock. Okay, so what times? There's only one problem. Since the clock is on the floor, they can't tell which is the top and which is the bottom of the clock. So it's got no numbers. Okay, no numbers. It's fallen and it's stopped. So what could the time be? So what would it be possible? Would it be possible to tell the time not knowing which way up the clock goes? Are there certain times that will be that you could tell no matter which way up the clock goes? Okay, so things like that. So if you think about it, 12 o'clock, could you tell that whether or not it was upside down or up the right way? Could you tell? And yes, you could, because don't be confused, because 6:30 would look different, wouldn't it? Because the hour hand would have moved halfway. Okay then. So are there any times when the hands would be directly on top of each other or directly opposite? Okay, so you can give that to children and get them to think. Are there some times that are symmetrical and will provide different results? And for example, would 10 to 9 be the same as 20 past 3? Does that make sense? Does 10 to 9 be the same as 20 past 3? Okay, what would happen if you turn the clock? And you might want to sort of like provide a geared clock for the children here to turn around. Okay, and as a finishing point, you would give the children the clock and ask them to provide the police with the correct answer of the time, and give them a bit of explanation, and provide the police with a bit of explanation. So you might come up with your own ideas about clocks and your own ideas about times, but that is a starting point. That is a starting point for you. So that was a little bit of a teaching idea to do with clocks. Now, before we move on, we are going to have one of my favorite sections, or we are going to move on and have one of my favorite sections, which is, of course, Ask Waffling Wilson.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Please note, the new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Hello?
Hello? I'm back. So this is when, here's my phone. I'm ready with my phone. And this is when I go across to my Ask Waffling Wilson app to see the questions you have asked me and that I can answer for you. So if you're interested, then this is the website to go along to, this one here. Alternatively, what you can do, if you would prefer, then you can actually go along to the website here, and just here there's a button that says Ask Me. And if you press on there, it takes you to that thing. So this was last week. This really boosted my confidence last week. So last week we had 2 questions. One of it was, who would you like to meet from the past? And I've uploaded the video here at the right place. So if you press that from episode 68, you'll be able to go straight to that segment. And the other question I had last week was, do you need help? Thank you to the person who sent that. Anyway, as always, I answered the question. So it's there. I don't know who said that. It was Ralph. I was quite upset about that at that moment. No, I wasn't. It's fine. Don't worry. So anyway, here we go. Ask Waffling Wilson. Here are some questions. Right. Question number 1. What are the most comfortable shoes? Okay. What are the most comfortable shoes? Well, what are the most comfortable shoes? Do you want to know? I think my most comfortable shoes are not actually shoes, because I have some slippers. Hang on, let me just take one off. Now, you go to... No laughing. So these are my slippers, okay? And I love my slippers. They're a bit tatty, but are you ready? Here it comes. Da, da, da. Now, don't mock. These are my slippers. They're like little booties. And do you want to know something? I'm going to put it back on now. 1 second. Oh. I'm coming back. Oh. And do you want to know? don't mock them because they are so warm and toasty. My feet are so warm in them, and I buy a pair every year. And round about October, I'll buy a new pair. But lovely, I love slippers. So my most favorite comfy shoes are probably not shoes; they're actually slippers. So that's an answer to that question. Question number 2: what was the dirtiest job you ever had? Right, okay then. Now, I've been a teacher for most of my life, either in higher education or primary education. But I did once work at a swan sanctuary. And this was a charity that was set up to sort of like look after injured swans and things like that. And I must admit, it was out on a farm and it was pretty dirty out there. The other thing that I have done, I've just remembered this. When I was about 16, 17, I used to help out at the local vets. Okay. And I helped out at the local vets. And I remember going out on visits with the vet to farms and things like that. And that was pretty dirty as well. I remember going to a farm that the sow was giving birth, or the sow had given birth, but there was 2 piglets still inside the sow. And all of a sudden I was stood there and the vet started to hand me these piglets over the thing, and I was just sort of like picking up these piglets and trying to keep them all together. They're going like this because they were away from the mother, and that was pretty. I had to wash my hands so much after that, but I was less OCD in those days, I must admit, about germs and things like that. So, but yes, I actually handled a whole lot of piglets, but I remember with my Wellingtons on, that was very smelly in that pen, very smelly and very dirty. So that's it. So slippers and pig pen dirty. So now then, we're coming to let me just check my running order, because I tend to forget things. Oh, yes, here we go. So we're coming to the end of the show this week. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm trying to make them smaller or shorter because people keep saying that they're far too long. So I'm trying to make them more compact. The other thing that you might have noticed is that at the beginning, there's some little icons on the first screen, so you can actually jump to the bits that you actually want. So if you go back to episode 68 and watch the video, you'll be able to jump to certain parts of the screen. So thank you to the people who have been watching tonight. We actually got 6 viewers at one point. It peaked at 6. That was my peak, which I was so pleased about. Remember, if you would like to engage in the show and give me some feedback, then we're looking at 2 things today. We're looking at what would be the message that you would put in a bottle. Okay, so you can put that in the comments below, or tweet it to me at iWilsonYSJ, and you can use the hashtag YSJPrimeEd if you wish. Or remember, we're also asking for your views about academies. If do you work in an academy? Do you like academies? Do you not like academies? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, I've done my research, and apparently all good YouTubers give something like that to put in the comments and then say, give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I must tell you this. I must stop going off on a tangent. I got so excited last week because I came back to the video and there was 1 like. There was a thumbs up, and I got so excited about it. And then I suddenly realised I had done it. So nobody had actually liked the video. It was me. And I must say, I don't know what it is about the number 6, but I can't seem to get over 6 viewers. It's the same when I have 6 listeners for my radio station, or 6 viewers on Twitch. So we need to make a conscious effort, guys, to get above 6. I'm sorry, my nose is itching like anything. I think I'm going to sneeze. Anyway, remember that if you would like to get in touch with the show, then you can tweet me at iWilsonYSJ, or add the comments below if you want. And don't forget that if you would like to pose me a question, I'll answer anything you want. Then by all means go across and ask it at ask.fm/WafflingWilson. Hope you've enjoyed today's show, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it and that it's been helpful and you've enjoyed, had some interaction, and it's helped you get some idea of what goes on at YSJ, and also some ideas about teaching. Please remember that you can join the website, join the forum just by registering, and then there's some open badges there, and you can move along trying to get to be a waffling legend, okay, and get some ranks up. I'll show you that next week. And also remember to keep up to date with my waffles by following me on Twitter at iWilsonYSJ. So listen, next Monday we won't be here because next Monday is bank holiday. So I won't do a show on bank holiday because everybody will be busy doing something else. So we're not here next week, but we are the following week. Okay, so hopefully you'll come back then. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's show. Let me just get this set up, and so make sure that we're ready. Until then, guys, I hope you've enjoyed episode 69 of this of Wilson Waffling Live. Hope you've enjoyed watching the recorded version. Sorry about the mic cutting out earlier on. But until next time, guys, I would like to say, consider yourself waffled. Catch you all later. Bye.